Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to the 15th of July 2025. Time is currently 4:05 p.m. And yes, I am back from my 2 and a bit day jaunt up to the Gold Coast. Driving up there, driving back, it takes about 5 hours and 20 minutes from where I was staying back here. So I left about 10 right when the market opened. And just before 10, I did have a nice breakfast with some of my family at a nice little cafe. And then before that, I took my dogs for a walk. And then before that, I was up before dawn just to see the sun rising above the watery horizon. That was actually quite stellar. In fact, the photo here is right on sunset. Right on sunset. So sort of busy day for me, but I did wake up at a normal time, so it's not like I'm tired or anything. Suppose driving can be tiring, like 5 hours, but I've driven, the most I've driven in one day is 16 hours, so I can definitely handle that. Anyway, you don't care about what's been happening with me over the last few days. You want to know what's happened what's happened on the ASX today. Now, I have been flying blindly, and I don't mean that literally, I mean that figuratively. I am not flying and I am not blind, but I have no idea what's happened on the ASX today. I can see that we've had a pretty good day, apart from maybe mining. But other than that, I've not had a look at announcements. I don't know what's the best performing sector, indice, or anything. And what I'm thinking of doing is I'll just show you what I usually do on the morning of every single trading day. Go through announcements. So I don't have a top five, but I can go through the best and worst performing sectors, indices, and also companies. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is just show you what I do every single morning when the ASX is open. So I come to my computer, typically, preferably between 8 and 10. Now, I can come back to my computer after the market is open, and there are some benefits to that because when you open up an announcement, you can actually see how the market has already reacted to that announcement. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I think announcement's quite good, and then the share price sells off, and vice versa as well. Now, what I also might do, there were quite a few really good announcements that were released yesterday, which I haven't touched upon, but I did write them down yesterday afternoon or evening when I very quickly went through the ASX today. So some of the companies, so I might do a separate video, a very short video on some of the really good announcements that I thought that were released yesterday on Monday, 14th of July. So I might do that. I haven't decided just yet. I might do it. Anyway, so what I might do now is I'll go to the Commsec website. Here it is. For those who don't know, you can use the Commsec platform. I don't trade at all through Commsec. In fact, the last time I bought anything or sold anything on Commsec was probably 7 or 8 years ago. In fact, if you have a look at my portfolio, I still have a margin loan through them. I don't use it at all. So I don't trade through Commsec, but I do like that platform. Now, what I'm going to show you is you can do this. All you have to do is sign up for Commsec. I don't think you need to do anything else. Just sign up. And then if you really want to have a look at the announcements that were released today, and I'll show you why I do like this platform for announcements. If you go to home, so there's on the top here, there's home, portfolio, watch list, quotes and research. Go to quotes and research. For some reason, it's Magellan Financial Group. I don't know why. Maybe it's the last company I looked at. And then go to tools. Just below quotes and research, we have tools. That'll take you to, for some reason, another company's page, which is BHP for me. I don't know why, again. And then we have interactive charting, company announcements, upcoming dividends, etc., etc. If you go to company announcements, click on that. Now, it used to go to all the BHP announcements, but they must have changed it because now it goes to all the announcements that were released on the ASX today. Okay, so 270 events. You don't want to go through all of them. You want to be picky. You want to be efficient. And the good thing about this particular platform, if you go to the ASX announcements, there's nothing like this. The official page, there's nothing like this. There's no filters. And the reason I like filters is the only sort of announcement I really want to look at and focus on is price sensitive. The sort of announcement that can move a company share price up or down. So you go to market sensitive, which I sometimes refer to as price sensitive. And that will whittle the amount of announcements down from, what was it, 270 down to 73. These are the announcements we want to see. You could also filter even more. So, for instance, if you just want to have a look at letters to shareholders, there was nothing released today. Or issued capital, There we go. There's some, quite a few. Looks like it hasn't worked. Company administration. There you go. So the filters I typically use are the Appendix 4C, which is Commitments, Test, Entity, Quarterly Reports. I won't click it on now because I don't want to get a surprise. And I also click on Quarterly Cash Flow Reports, which is the Appendix 5Bs. They used to have, this is way back, they used to have a feature on Commsec where you could just put a word in and just look for all the announcements with that word in the title. So for instance, I used to just put in presentation because I liked looking at presentations, but you can't do that anymore. You can't do that anymore. Okay, so let's have a look at the announcements released today. And then what I'll do, no top 5, what I'll do is we'll have a look at the announcements, see how the market has reacted to some of these announcements. And then what I'll do is we'll have a look at the ASX today, have a look at the best and worst performing sectors, indices, and also companies. See if I missed anything. No chart of the day either because, for obvious reasons. Unless, maybe. Although we will have a look at some interesting charts as we go through some of these announcements. Okay, so for the first company to release what I might define as an interesting announcement is St. Barbara, which was the first announcement of the day. Now, sometimes you do see Commsec being a bit glitchy. Happens rarely. So on occasion, I will, particularly if the first announcement is released at a time you think might be a little bit late. So if there's an announcement released at 7:50, it's fairly early. But if I see announcement released, of the first price-sensitive announcement released, say 8:30, I think, or maybe Commsec hasn't updated, on occasion that does happen. So all I do is just go to ASX website and I have a look here. And it will show you the first announcements released. So for instance, St. Barbara was the first price-sensitive announcement release and about the 8th overall announcement. So yes, St. Barbara was the first price-sensitive announcement released today. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. So this is a sort of announcement where you might see the share price rally or drop depending on the results and how the results might have met or beaten or were short of expectations. Now, St. Barbara tends to release disappointing announcements. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but over the last, say, 10 or so years, I just remember St. Barbara keep on releasing disappointing announcements. So will this one disappoint? Let's have a look. What I'll also do is I'll just write down the announcements I probably would have, the announcements that would have been in the running for the top 5. Okay, first thing I want to look for here is any sort of results comparing to expectations. So they're talking about gold sales, gold production. So I don't care about the numbers itself. It's how the numbers compare to expectations. Now, I'm pretty sure St. Barbara released an update not that long ago. St. Barbara, and Magellan was the last company I looked at. I've just given it away. This update might be okay, unless gold had a really good day. I'm pretty sure they released, there it is, on the 17th of June. They did a financial year 25 production and cost guidance update. Share price did drop on that day a fair bit, if I remember. 14%. And the share price went as low, after that, the share price went as low as 27 cents. So we have seen the share price go up today. So that's probably suggesting that there was something in this announcement the market liked. So let's have a quick look. And I can see it right now. So gold production for financial year 25, 51,168 ounces, was within revised guidance of 50 to 52,000. So you might be saying, well, it's in guidance. Why is the share price up? The way I look at a guidance range is the midpoint is the actual guidance. Anything below the midpoint or anything above the midpoint is a beat. Anything below the midpoint is a miss. So that's why I look at ranges. So 51,168 is actually above the midpoint. So in a way, this was a slight beat. So that is the way I would justify why the share price is up 5% today. Now, the other thing that could have happened, of course, is gold might have had a really good day. So let's actually have a look at gold. By the way, I did not have a look at the markets, at the NASDAQ overnight, the Dow Jones overnight, and not as good as I thought it might have been based off our market today. So gold, it was up 0.59%, but not a spectacular day. So I think one of the reasons why St. Barbara might be up today is because they had a good announcement. Would this be in the running for the top 5 stocks of the day? I would have written down. Yes, I would have. July 15, SPM, because you don't know, maybe today would have been a really boring day. Okay, so let's keep on going. And typically, I do this fairly quickly, so I don't spend so much time looking at announcement. Now, because the market has closed, and I do this on occasion, particularly if the market has opened, and I just started going through announcements, what I do is just hover my mouse over the ticker code, and you can just see how the companies have performed. So Encounter Resources released something, but I would not have opened this up in the morning. But because the market is closed, we can actually see how these companies performed. Like Sayona, final 2024 June results, share price up a little bit. So what I'm looking now is, and I'm just going to look like Pioneer Lithium, share price up 19% on expanding uranium footprint with grant of Botsalano project. Now, more than likely in the morning, I would not have put this company down among the potential top 5 stocks because, well, I'm looking at the title. It's like, whatever. But then if I do, or just before I start recording, I might have a look at the best performers. So this might be one of the best performing companies on the ASX. I don't know. So I'll just write it down now. And I might talk about it later. What else? So most of the announcements I'm looking here are just mining companies, drilling results, that sort of thing. And a lot of time, like here's one, Kalgoorlie Gold Mining, share price down 13%. So obviously that was a little bit of disappointment. But typically I do this fairly quickly. Well, Miramar share price is below 1 cent. We can move on. Here's another one, Mount Hope, share price up 10.7% on targets defined for maiden drill program. Looks boring. So I typically just move on. Now, Activeport ATV activities update. Will I have a look at this? Typically, yes. I will have a look at any sort of non-mining company who does release a bit of an update like this. Now, I'm pretty sure Activeport released something just the other day, which was a bit of an excitement to the market. Yeah, 33% up on the 8th of July. And I forget what that announcement was. Oh, secure major contract with Ishan Technologies. Okay, so let's have a quick look at this one. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these sort of announcements, you don't get a lot of, oh, this is the company's, activities update, how the company has performed. So they do provide numbers. I was going to say sometimes a company won't provide any numbers in an announcement, but what I'm looking for is numbers. So for instance here, highlights, 4 bullet points, numbers in 3 of them at least. So software as a service up 31% to 734,000. Software license revenue up 26% to 495,000. So all they're talking about is revenue here. So more than likely this company is not profitable, not generating cash flow. So we're really looking for some nice growth in revenue. Fairly small company. I'm not sure if this would have. Oh, by the way, they also say total revenue has returned to growth. Interesting wording, which means the company was not growing. Now they're returned back to growth. And anyway, so I don't really follow this company all too closely. So let's see how the market has reacted today. I think we've already seen not much of a reaction. In fact, share price has gone nowhere. So we can move on. Vection Technologies. Now, this company's share price has been going a little bit bonkers recently. They secure another or further 500,000 defense order. Seems fairly low, but there's been a lot of interest in this company recently. So is this just like some more validation of the sentiment behind this company? Let's have a look. Share price up 5.71%. So let's have a look at the chart for Vection Technologies. And the good thing about this announcement, the amount or the numbers are in the title. Don't really have to open it up. I'm cheating. Okay, so share price has pulled back a little bit. In fact, the share price was down. Oh, not down as much. I thought it was down a little bit more. So nice little run. Share price has pulled back. You can definitely see why the share price has pulled back. There's a little bit of selling coming in because look where it is. Look where the share price got to compared to the previous high. Hello, resistance. Okay, so it does make sense. The other thing I like to look at, of course, is volume. Some nice volume coming in the last month or so. In fact, you can see a really big spike in volume from last October. So this company's getting a little bit more attention. Just a pity that the management suck in terms of capital raisings. Okay, so would I have put that into my top 5 potential list? No, I don't think I would have. Sorry, Vection. Atturra. Okay, this is a sort of announcement that I might be, I wouldn't say excited about, but wouldn't say cross my fingers, but the sort of announcement where if the company releases something positive and if the chart looks okay, maybe share price going sideways, that this could generate a little bit of a buzz. So Atturra, results date and preliminary results update. Let's have a look at this from Atturra. Don't know much about this company. Recently listed maybe 3 years ago. So underlying EBITDA expected to exceed 31 million within Atturra's guidance range of 31 to 34 million. Okay, so again, midpoint, 32.5 million. This is below that midpoint. So maybe the share price might be down. But wait, I just noticed they've also got revenue here. Revenue to exceed 30 million, up more than 20%, but marginally lower than the guidance range, which was 305 to 320. That's all I need to know. Don't have to go through the rest of the announcement. So sometimes what you'll see is when a company releases a really good announcement, just one liner. So if anything, I would assume the share price should be down for Atturra, but I could be wrong. Maybe the market was expecting this company to have a miss. So let's have a look at Atturra. Share price, see, there he goes. Share price up 6.92%. So obviously the market saw something good in this, even though they miss expectations. They do actually have here in the fifth bullet point, financial year 26 overall revenue in EBITDA growth is forecast to exceed 20%. So there is a chance the market was excited about some of the projections, some of the forecasts, and that's why the share price is up. And I will be honest with you, I would have put this on my list and I would have seen the share price up and gone, oh, I must have missed something. And let's have a look at the chart for Atturra. Is this a potential breakout? No, in fact, the share price has been a bit of a downtrend. So yeah, this would not be on my list as a potential trade. Sorry, Atturra. Okay, and here we go, Hub 24. Okay, so I'm cheating just a little bit here. Cheating just a little bit. The only company that I thought might have released an announcement today, an update, was Hub 24. And the reason I thought that is because the Ausbiz, the core show, had their stock of the day as Hub 24. And that typically means the company had released an important announcement, a relative announcement, a price-sensitive announcement. So I fully expected Hub 24, just completely forgot until right now. So no surprise that Hub 24 released a market update today. Okay, by the way, share price up 6.42%. I cheated again there. So we already know this market update is pretty good. Net Wealth released an update the other day and share price didn't really move all that much. So the market likes this. I've already figured that out. So I talked about net inflows, up 7%. Not that much. Record annual platform net inflows 25% up. Okay, ranked first for quarterly and annual net flows, achieved highest net promoter score. So this was a pretty good result for Hub 24 based off, well, the market reaction. I'll be honest with you, based off the market reaction. And a lot of times when it comes to these sort of announcements, I will wait just to see how the market reacts because I found sometimes you just don't know. So Hub 24, share price up 6%, and the chart is at an all-time high. Look at that chart. And the share price is now above $100. Hub 24 definitely would have been the running for stock of the day, by the way. Okay, so no surprise there. Okay, so let's just keep on going up. Hazer, Silver Mine. So something like a Silver's project update, I don't typically get that excited about. Share price up 7.14%. Maybe Silver had a good day as well. Now, Biome, international market update and new distribution agreements. Yes, I will have a look at these type of announcements. 1.5 million international sales revenue for financial year 25, up 69%. The other thing I like about Biome is they do release regular updates, which I think is very important for companies to do. And I think there are a few companies out there who should take a page out of Biome's marketing handbook because they're very hesitant to release updates like this. So great announcement from Biome. Well, I shouldn't say great announcement, but I do like these sort of announcements from Biome. And I do like these announcements from any company. Just tell us how you're going. Yeah. Anyway, so let's have a look at how the share price performed today. Share price up 2.68%. I might have written Biome down, and then I saw the share, and then if I saw the share price up 2.7%, I would have gone, nah, let's move on. New Age Exploration, Appendix 5B. Now, more than likely, this company is an exploring company, but I always open it up just in case they are in production and I've missed it. And of course, Commsec, sometimes their announcements take a while to open up. And all I do is just go quickly to the Appendix 5B section, no cash receipts, and I move on. That's all I want to look at. X2M Connect, some sort of placement. So share price down. Yep, there he is, down 22%. No surprise there. And we get to a couple of really interesting announcements here. SenSen, quarterly activity report and Appendix 4C. This is when I get a little bit excited sometimes. Well, maybe less excitement than I'm showing right now. So I have opened up my spreadsheet. Here it is. And this is what I do. When I see an Appendix 4C released for a company that is generating receipts, I just do this. Put in a T code, find next. And then we'll go over to SenSen. Here it is. So I've been doing this since 2013. Oh, and there we go. And just having a look at the last few quarters. So this company is increasing their receipts gradually over time. Last quarter was 3.7 million. So it can be a little bit of hidden, I wouldn't say hit and miss, but can be quite lumpy. There it is. So you can see this is not including this particular quarter, but receipts are growing. Exactly what I want to see. So I'm hoping, just by looking at this, I'm hoping, well, I'm not really hoping because I don't own SenSen, but it'd be really good if the receipts got above $4 million just based off this. But we did see a bit of an increase last quarter from 2.9 to 3.7. But again, lumpiness, it could be anywhere. I'm going to say it could be anywhere. These receipts could be anywhere between 3 and 4.5 million. I just don't know because of the lumpiness. But this is where I get a little bit excited because this company has been, I'm pretty sure they've been operating cash flow positive in the past. And these are sort of companies I'm looking for. Company that is growing and has reached that inflection point. Now, what I do is I open it up. Where is it? I don't care about the commentary, the activities. And a lot of companies could have 10 pages, 20 pages of activities. I don't care, all this commentary. The first thing I do is have a look at the Appendix 4C. Receipts of customers, 4 million. And they are operating cash flow positive. And this is a true operating cash flow because no government grants and tax incentives. In fact, they also paid an income tax. So this company is operating cash flow positive. Sure, it's a low, it's small, 107,000, but it's operating cash flow positiveness. And because I didn't spend much money in capital expenditure, this company is free cash flow positive. They did borrow some money. So this is what I do. I typically just put that into my, where is it? There it is. Just put it 4.0 million. And then I always have to, where is it? I can do that later. I do like to have, a decimal point in there. If it's a 0, there we go. Oh no! You need, where is it? There it is. I always like to have a decimal point. And then typically what I do, I won't do it now because I don't want to bore you. I then expand this graph one extra point, and then sometimes I'll just get rid of it and delete it. But I would have hoped or wanted or wished this was a record quarter in terms of receipts for SenSen, but at least it's in the right direction, and 4 million, that's okay. No complaints from me. And then sometimes after I've read the Appendix 4C, then I'll go up to the commentary or the activity section, just have a quick read. And they mention here, first ever 4-year positive operating cash flow from 1.9 million. But if we go back, so they do report an operating cash flow of 1.9 million, but that does include 2.27 million in government grants and tax incentives. And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, government grants and tax incentives don't belong in operations because they're not an ongoing thing. It's not a company has not generated this amount of cash flow because of what they're doing. They've needed help from the government. So I tend to exclude that from the operating cash flow of a company. So in my opinion, this company was not operating cash flow positive for the full year. Anyway, so I think it's by the way, sustained positive cash flow, again, is that including government grants for the 5th consecutive quarter. But at least they were truly, or Kneppy's, operating cash flow positive. So that's pretty exciting. AVA Risk Group trading update. So this is a company I used to own. Then I got sick of them because they just weren't doing anything. Let's see how they're going now. So sales order intake of 7.1 million in the quarter, sales order backlog of 6.4 million, revenue 31.6 million for the year, below the guidance range. This is a result of a number of key orders expected in quarter 4, which have been delayed. This happens a lot. This happens so much. The thing that is always blamed is delays. We expected this in the quarter, but delays. We expected this, but delays. This is the reason why companies' management should be more conservative with their forecasts, because delays always happen, or they're always blamed. Expected EBITDA of 2 million, lost last year, and expected cash balance of 5.4 million. So cash has actually increased over the past year. So a miss when it comes to revenue, but some positives there that EBITDA and cash balance have both improved significantly. I wouldn't be surprised if the share price is up for AVA Group. Let's have a look. No, share price is down. There you go. Share price is down. Share price is down 9.52%. And by the way, let's have a look at the chart for SenSen really quickly. I'm sorry about this. And chart and AVA Group. And no, pretty big volume as well today. Nice, potentially nice support at this level. You can see it, share price fell below this level back in April and then rallied fairly nicely. So it is at an important level. And it also bounced off it today. Share price went to about 8.9 today and bounced. So it's a positive sign there. So again, I thought maybe the share price could have gone up for AVA Group, but it did not. This is why I like to have a look to see the market reaction, because the market is completely different than I am. Or the way the market thinks is completely different the way I think. Media contract update, meh. Yeah, whatever. Share price up 1.74%. Yeah, that's a correct reaction. Yeah, whatever. An investor presentation from AVA Risk Group. I might look at that later because I do like presentations. And Cleanspace sales update, financial year 25. Let's have a look at this one. Revenue of 19.7 million, up 26%. Then they go through geographic segments, and looks like that's all she wrote. No mention of whether this was better than expected. Maybe they didn't have any expectations. It is up from last year. Nice growth through all their geographic segments. I suppose that's positive. But I would have read this and not really know. It sounds positive, but I don't know. Let's have a look at Cleanspace. Share price up 11.8%. There you go. This would have been in the running for the top 5 stocks. AVA Group would have been, by the way. Hub would have been. And let's have a look at the chart for Cleanspace. Hello chart. If you have a look at the weekly chart, ugly for a long time. Well, back in 2021, this company listed because they were, facing significant tailwinds because of COVID-19. They, I forget what something to do with in that sort of area. Not ventilators or masks or something to do with that. Mask or ventilators, something. I forget exactly what. But when the good times came to an end, you can just see the share price just dropped like a rock. So this was a really opportunistic IPO. I can definitely see why they did it, take advantage, and it wouldn't be surprising if maybe some insiders got out. Maybe, I don't know. But things look like they might be turning around. The share price today did get to a long-term high. Now, the share price did get up to this level back in July 2024, so 1 year ago, and it's back up. So I do like this chart for Cleanspace. I don't know if they release Appendix 4Cs. They might. Okay, let's have a look. EVR Systems preliminary approval. Market reaction. Nice little reaction there. That could be it, because we're getting to about 9:30. Once you go closer to 10 and 10, less likely to see any really strong announcements, but they can happen. Image and Biosystems trial update. Share price up 21.43%. I'm not sure if I would have opened this one up, but this would have popped up on the top gainers, I would have assumed. So I might have a look at that very quickly later. Nothing else. Some of these, I'm just having a quick look at the share price reaction or the market reaction. Bowen Coaking Coal share price down 25% on a boomer payment. This one would have struck out like a yes. So I am concerned about this company, and they do have a fair bit of debt, if I remember correctly. They were in a trading halt, I think. Have received a letter of demand from Burma, Australia for payment of invoices totaling $15 million. Bowen is considering whether continuing commercial negotiations and recapitalization efforts remain viable. Yeah, I am concerned about this company. I definitely understand why the share price is down 25%. BCB chart looks horrendous. This is one of the worst looking charts on the ASX. Maybe not the worst. Well, maybe it is the worst. Share price has dropped from almost 40 cents to 7.5 cents in the last 4 trading days. This definitely would have been the running for the top 5 stocks of the day. Yeah, it's just the title. That one, yeah, boomer payment demand. Whoa. Pengana Capital Group, monthly funds under management. I do open these up, by the way. I just want to see, yeah, so this company is growing, their funds under management. But maybe that's what they've always been doing. Share price up 6.17%. Yeah, so Pengana Capital Group, I don't know anything about it, but a nice little reaction from the market. PCG. And, no, not for me. You can see all my different reactions then, but yeah. And now we're getting to the open of trading. And sometimes after the trading begins, you don't see anything. So let's see if we got anything. We do get a Appendix 5B from Legend Mining. Let's just open this up really quickly. Oh, come on, Commsec. Do I have to go to for nothing? Absolutely nothing. Now, what Legend have done here is something I really like. They separate the activities report and the cash flow report in separate documents. A lot of mining companies combine the two. And the reason I like that is because I don't really care about the activities report for a mining company. I don't really care. It's the cash flow report I care about. Saunders International acquired someone. Market likes it. And then hum. You just see the lack of positive announcements after market is open. It's just, sometimes it can be fairly scarce. And by the way, Bowen Coaking is in a trading halt. Eek. Eek, eek, eek. Eek, 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 eek. Ooh, and what I'm going to do is just have a look to see if anything has been released since I started recording. Rio Tinto appoints Simon Trott as CEO. There you go. I sometimes will look at these sort of announcements. Okay, so I probably would have come up with the top 5 of Hub24, AVA Group, Cleanspace. I would have also included SenSen because they released an Appendix 4C. That would have been the top 5 stocks. More than likely, Hub24 would have been the stock of the day. Cleanspace, 2. Maybe Bowen Coaking would have been 2. SenSen probably would have been 5. In fact, let's do it right now. SenSen 5, Hub24 just because their size, Bowen, Coaking, 2. 3 would have been, I would have put Cleanspace and then AVA Group at number 4. So that is the top 5 stocks. Hub 24, Bowen, Coaking, Cleanspace, AVA Group, and SenSen. Now let's have a look at the ASX Today. This video is going a little bit longer than I anticipated. A really good day on the market. There you go. Why? I don't know. And tech's had a really good day, up 1.76%. Small caps had a really good day. Don't know why. NASDAQ was only up 0.33. Dow Jones 0.2. NASDAQ futures are up 0.47. Maybe that's why. Hang Seng's up 0.94. Maybe Asian markets. Nikkei up 0.55. I have no idea. Maybe what I'll do is, what I should have done, China GDP growth slows less than expected. That's positive. China industrial output growth at 3-month high. Meh. Australia consumer sentiment edges higher. That's positive. So a few positive things out there in the macroeconomic environment. Okay, let's go back to the ASX today. Best and worst performing sectors. Look at IT and healthcare. Wowzers. What a day. Materials down, so mining bad day. But a pretty good day on our market overall, with healthcare up 2%, IT up 2.16%, and telecommunications up 1.18%. ASX 20 up 0.63%. I'm assuming maybe iron ore had a negative day. Gold was up 1.54%. So maybe iron ore, a few of those companies down. ASX 200 banks up 0.49%. I would assume, I'm going to say 15 companies up, 5 down. Oh, close. 15 up, 4 down, 1 flat. And the 4 companies down were, well, look at that. Rio Tinto, BHP, Fortescue, and NAB, one of the big banks down as well. So obviously iron ore had a bit of a negative day. And the best performing companies, CSL, something to do with tariffs, maybe? Let's see if it's mentioned in Capital Brief. There's Hub 24. Oh, Media lost a contract. Wait there, was the share price? I thought the share price was up. Yeah. So the market's saying, who cares if they lost a contract? Doesn't matter. So really, if they lost a contract, share price should be down. Really? I can't see anything about CSL. By the way, chart for CSL might be looking interesting. I don't know. Share price up to 250. Let's have a look at. Pretty good day. Definitely looking a little bit more interesting for CSL because it's gone past the last 2 highs. That's good. Okay, let's go back and have a look at the top gainers. See if I missed anything, which can happen. Now, unfortunately, the first 4 companies up big are on low turnover, so I think we can move on. Dateline Resources up 26%. Did they release anything? I can't remember. In fact, this is what I do. And what's today's date? 15th? It is. New Dateline CEO to accelerate Colosseum project, not market price sensitive. I think this is just noise. There's a lot of excitement about this company. The chart looks, I suppose, it looks fairly bullish. I think, low volume today. I don't like the volume. Don't like the volume at all today. Anyway, that's Dateline Resources, so not interested in that. Anson Resources, share price up 25% on pretty big volume. So again, let's have a look. Quick look. They released something yesterday, and the share price was up big. Oh, in fact, the share price is up big 3 days in a row. ASN. So this chart should be looking pretty good. Oh, look at that. It's gone exponential. I stay away from these sort of setups. Okay, what else? Loxley, I think we can move on. These sort of the same sort of companies are just popping up and up, like Elsight. So Elsight, I doubt they release anything as well. I could be wrong. No. So again, this is one of those stories that this is not a story stock. I do like this one. I just don't like the chart. Although the pullback was nice. That was actually a nice pullback. Yeah, that was actually a nice pullback. I should have been paying a little bit more attention to L cycles. That's a nice little pullback. You can just see on that pullback, the volume just decreased. And then today, popped up on really good volume. Whew. Oh, and SenSen, up 23. But look at the turnover, $761. There you go. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, 5 trades. In fact, cost of sales on open, share price was up about 25-30%. And what else do we have here? Image and biosystems. I won't talk about this. Video's taking too long. So Image and Biosystems, they did release something, and there's Pioneer Lithium as well. I'll have a quick look at what's it called? Pioneer Lithium. And the chart is up big for me. And that's about it. Best performance by market cap. Drone Shield up big again. They were up big yesterday. And just behind Drone Shield, we have Electro-Optic Systems. So this space is really hot right now. Now, Drone Shield has a market cap of 3.25 billion. So there's a little bit of, you might be able to argue there's a little bit too much of heat in Drone Shield right now. Probably could even say the same thing about Electro-Optic Systems. Both of these companies' charts are starting to look a little bit dangerous. And what I mean by dangerous is the share price have gone on runs, really big runs. This reminds me of what happened back here in July last year. Share price went up way too quickly. And when you see the share price going up like this exponentially, share price will pull back significantly eventually. It just has to. It's a rule I do. It's not a rule. It's not a science rule or law, but it's just a pattern you always see. Share price goes exponentially up, a lot of froth, and then share price pulls back significantly, just like we saw last year, this time last year. Almost exactly. In fact, if the share price pulls back significantly yesterday, it'll be 1 year anniversary of the share price pulling back significantly last year, down 22%. And Electro-Optics, and I do own this one, wish I was trading it though. Yeah, this one's showing the same signs, just gone silly all of a sudden. And I sort of understand what's happening, but is it justified, this sort of reaction? Probably not. So I do think there's probably a lot of day traders, maybe day traders, medium, short-term day traders in these, or not short, medium traders, not day traders in these as well. And that is helping the share price rally. And that is why when you see an exponential rise in share price, when the traders get out, that's when the share price might just drop. And what else? There's Elsight, Visan. Visan chart must be looking pretty good as well. Yeah, this chart looks pretty good. So this broke out of a downtrend back on the 1st of July. So really nice looking chart for Visan. What else? I think that's about it for now. Okay, now on to the top losers. Let's see if I missed anything. There's Bowen Coaking, X2M capital raising, and I don't think there's much of interest here. Nope, and nope. Top losers by market cap, and nothing. Nothing I really want to talk about. Oh, Ampere Therapeutics. So that was one I was trading. I was waiting for a really good pullback to maybe hop back in. And yeah, so took a trade at 20.5. I didn't completely see out at 40. And I'm waiting for a nice little pullback. If I see the share price get down to about 25 cents, that could be a nice little trade getting back in. Okay, that's all I have for this video. It went a little bit longer than I anticipated. I probably won't go through the interesting announcements that were released yesterday. I'll just see how the companies performed today, just because I just want to do other stuff now. Anyway, because this video went a little bit longer, maybe if this video was 30 minutes. But anyway, if you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who's qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this one. Have a good day. Bye.